Adventures of Duckey's Crew, A Day at the Beach by Dr. Nyman for the students and staff of the Key to Learning, June 2024. Season 2, Volume 3 of Critter Chronicles. Once upon a time, Duckey's crew were so excited to finally be on their very first adventure with their babysitters, Dr. Nyman and Mr. Wynn. They left the Key to Learning on their way to Fort DeSoto Park in Pinellas County, Florida. This crew was happy to jump on the dash of Nova Fett and get front row seats. That is, until Mr. Wynn reached the first red light and had to apply the brakes. That is when we all lost our balance and fell forward. Our names are on our bottom side, as that would be the safest in case of emergency, unlike our fall, which was not safe at all, and caused us to have to jump into our supercalifragilisticexpialidocious umbrella bag carrier thingamabob for the rest of the drive. A relaxing day at the beach. This campground was a bit different than most, as this one had several beaches, a few piers, and an actual fort. And for the first time ever, the critters of this story can actually swim, rather float, as we all have our floating permits and are safe to go to the beach. However, who knew what would happen if you take Duckey's crew to the beach for the day? First, they would want to ride in the hot pink wagon, but first, interrupted our babysitter, we are at the beach and there are too many of you, float or no float. So, in this supercalifragilisticexpialidocious umbrella bag carrier thingamabob must be a blue flying saucer sand sifter, whatchamacallit, carrier for the beach. Shortly after we finally decided who was on first and what was on second, without any further fuss, we all jumped into the blue flying saucer sand sifter, whatchamacallit, carrier, only to arrive at the entrance to the beach, where it clearly said, no pets on the beach. That is when Rashank and Lindy got into a bit of a word and math debacle. Rashank claimed, I'm 100% sure that since 100% of us are animals, we must have been adopted by our babysitters. We are therefore 100% pets. This is when Lindy further argued her point and said, we have floating permits and passports. We are therefore not pets and are welcomed here. The first order of business for this crew was the lifeguard stand, where we very politely and quietly asked the lifeguard on duty if we were indeed allowed. Hank did all the beaking. The lifeguard smiled and nodded. We, of course, quickly turned around and finally decided to enjoy the day at the beach. As we were saying, when you take Duckey's crew to the beach and they finally are allowed in, we will want to go snorkeling. After the snorkeling, we will see the beautiful sugar sand and we will want to build a sandcastle. Hard work pays off. Just look at something just work at something that you love, and what can look like a mess can turn out to be a beautiful castle. This is when we all want to dig a big hole and use the big yellow shovel, and one our size too. Which do you think dug a deeper hole? Hank spotted a surfboard, and you guessed it, we will want to go surfing. It was a windy day, and we caught some gnarly waves, and it was totally tubular. The wind would make us want to fly a kite, and we will have to fight the wind, and our kite will get so tangled that even Mr. Wind could not rescue it. We will get thirsty and want lemonade. After the cold treat, we will see the unicorn and want to ride it. After the magical unicorn ride, we will want to attempt our floating skills and try out the security of the blue flying saucer sand sifter whatchamacallit carrier. This is when we went into the water, and the waves tested us immediately. Cindy, who only wanted to nap in the sunshade, fell overboard, and Hank, being the responsible duck he is, went in after her. This caused all the crew to make a quick decision to go and collect seashells instead. Collecting seashells will make us tired, and we will want to rest in the sunshade. Resting will make us hungry, and we will want to get into the cooler. After eating the items in the cooler, we will want ice cream. After eating our ice creams, we will want to climb on the rocks. And after Frank and Brindy and Mindy rejoin our group, they found themselves lost and in a pond of Hank lookalikes. But alas, none of them were Hank or any of the other critters' members. We will want to go fishing on the pier. We will find a red line, no fishing area, and no fisherman will be willing to take us. That is when we will all climb into Sam, the fisherman's red bucket, and go fishing with him. Imagine his surprise when he went looking for bait and found us, a crew of floatable critters with a mission to fish. After fishing, we will want to get washed off and go visit the playground. Don't mind Mindy. She immediately fell back in the mud and stayed there for a minute until Dr. Nyman saw her and picked her up. Brindy and Lindy dared the big slide. Rashank found math heaven. Crank became an accidental snack for the puffer fish. Cindy found a lovely egg chair and took a nap. Frank was trying all the steps to climb to the next level of the playground. Hank was attempting to use the megaphone beak to ensure the safety of his crew. And Mindy, who arrived afterwards, went to the swings. After the playground, we will want to see the fort and take a picture in front of the big cannon. After the cannon picture, we will want dinner and a nice place to rest our head. The hammock will do, but we will want our own little camper too. We have the nicest babysitters, as they ensured our perfect day at the beach was indeed perfect. In fact, they even got us our own camper for the long camping trip coming up. See you next time. The end.